everyone! Today we get told that we're all selfish, narcissistic sinners. So that's a thing. One of you wonderful lot sent me a pretty awful video on Twitter just last week. Not only did the title and thumbnail immediately catch my attention, but the fact that this video almost immediately opens with what I think is quite a heartwarming little montage. It's all these happy, smiling, empowered, successful people, mostly women, to be honest, talking about, you know, how they realize that they need to look after themselves and love themselves and care about themselves, and how that makes them stronger people, and how by looking after themselves they can do more good in the world. And it's quite a nice, heartwarming little montage, which this video then rips apart and portrays these people, mostly women, as like literal incarnations of the devil, pretty much. It makes them out to be that bad. It's ridiculous. And today I figured we could watch the video and have a little chat about it together.
Put yourself first, not last.
I want to talk about the importance of loving yourself before you can love anybody else.
How to love yourself first and make yourself a priority.
Always have to remember to take care of you first and foremost.
Love yourself before you love other people.
It is loving yourself before others.
Really just love yourself more than anyone else.
Love yourself before you love others. Put your desires ahead of other people's. Only joking, this is of course nonsense. This is utter garbage. This self-love message, which is currently being preached around the world and is considered the most groundbreaking piece of wisdom of our age, which is being preached in songs and in YouTube videos and in memes, this idea that you should love yourself before others, that you should put yourself before others, that the priority of your life should be you, is narcissistic claptrap. This is pure narcissism, which is why people love it so much. This is why it's caught on so much, because it does appeal to our selfish, sinful nature.
Now, this might just be me, but surely only someone who is incredibly insecure and unhappy within themselves could see people posting things like this and get angry about it. If you have to get angry at other people enjoying who they are, that says a lot more about you and your insecurities than it does about them. And of course, this goes without saying, but this guy is absolutely wrong. He completely misses the point. Saying love yourself before others does not by any stretch of the imagination mean love yourself instead of others or love yourself and not others. Before is the key word there. It does not mean ignore everyone else and focus only on yourself. It does not mean only ever think about your own needs and screw everyone else. And to portray it that way is completely disingenuous and dishonest. All it means is before you can fully do good for everyone else, you need to make sure you're caring for yourself. That's all it means. For example, it's like saying you have to love yourself before you get into a relationship with anyone else, because if you're not happy with who you are as an individual, how can you expect anyone else to love you fully? If you go into a relationship full of insecurities about yourself, that's going to cause problems. You're never going to believe that the other person is fully into you. There'll be lots of insecurities. There might be jealousy. It can work, but it's never going to work as well as if you already feel good about yourself. Do you know what I mean? Go into a relationship with these insecurities and personal problems, and this can be why people might end up being abusive to their partners or staying with abusive partners. It might be why people cheat on relationships or put up with other people cheating on them. Relationships that you go into when you're insecure about yourself can work, but mostly it just causes more problems. And therefore, if you want to have this healthy, happy relationship, it helps if you work on yourself first and make sure you're happy within who you are before you try and build anything with anyone else, you know? Once you've worked on yourself, then you can work on building something with a partner. This guy completely misses the point as well and thinks that to love yourself is always narcissistic, and that is not at all the case. I'm not sure this guy fully understands what narcissism actually is. Saying love yourself does not mean you spend every day in front of the mirror telling yourself you're beautiful and perfect and spending all your time focusing on how great and brilliant you are. It doesn't mean you throw everything else in your life aside to focus only on you. It simply means care enough about yourself to take care of yourself. Make sure you're eating healthy, make sure you're eating enough, make sure you're not overeating, make sure you're exercising, make sure you're living a life with a career and interests and hobbies that make you feel good and make you happy. Surround yourself with good people, take care of your health and your well-being. And why do this? Not only because it makes you feel good, but also because you can't help other people to the best of your ability until you're in a good place yourself. It's like asking someone who lives in poverty, who is malnourished, to donate all their food and clothes to other people. You wouldn't do that. You say, make sure you're living comfortably and safely, make sure you've got food and you're well fed, and then any excess you can donate to other people if you want. You wouldn't ask someone with a broken leg to carry someone else's groceries for them, would you? Because, that's going to make the person with the broken leg suffer. Once that leg's healed, maybe you can say, hey, can you help me with this? But not before. You wouldn't ask a cancer patient to go out and donate blood to people, because that cancer patient needs to be well enough before their blood can help anyone else. You need to make sure you're living comfortably and have a healthy life before you can go out and help other people. And no, that's not saying wait until everything in your life is perfect and without fault before you even try and help other people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying make sure you're taken care of as an individual and you'll be a more productive member of society. Of course, this guy hates this idea and brings it all back to religion.
Indeed, one of the central themes of the Bible, one of the core truths that runs right through the Word of God, is that we are naturally selfish people. We naturally want to put ourselves first. We want our own way. We want to be the God of our own lives. And the Bible tells us that this self-seeking, me-first desire that's naturally within all of us, if we submit to it, it leads to nothing but desolation and death. We have to put God and others first. In fact, you can't help but notice that this self-love message, which is being preached in the world today, is the complete inversion of what the Bible says.
There is so much to unpack here, just like so much. And so much is just wrong and unhelpful and a little bit dangerous. I mean, for one thing, his advice is just not practical or realistic at all, as we've already spoken about. I mean, we've already looked at a few kind of extreme examples, but I want to kind of show you another one. I could say you need to take care of your mental health before this and this, but mental health is a little bit of a difficult one because it's a little bit more abstract. Some people don't really get it. So let's use a more kind of solid example that more people will definitely kind of understand and show how kind of bizarre his ideas are. Let's talk about physical health. I think we can all agree that donating blood is a fantastic thing to do. It helps a hell of a lot of people, and, it's a nice, selfless thing to do. It would be easy to say, all people should donate blood, and if you don't, you're selfish. But that's not the case at all. Many people can't give blood because they're not well enough, or in my case, I'm not allowed to donate blood because I'm underweight. To donate blood in the UK, you need to weigh at least 50 kilograms, and I don't. I've never even got close to that. I'm technically underweight, and that's an issue. I'm not allowed to donate blood because it would put my health at risk. It's not that I'm ill or have any food issues, nothing like that. I've just always struggled to put on weight. I've always been underweight, and so it's something I'm working on, trying to make sure that I eat enough and that I'm eating the right foods and that kind of thing. The problem is, living by this guy's standards of love everyone else before yourself, I should be going out and donating blood and focusing my energy on donating blood no matter what. Because that's the thing to do. That's putting everyone else before myself. That's what I should be doing. And if I don't do that, I'm a dirty sinner. Thing is, that is to the detriment of my health. But by the love yourself before others standard, what I need to do and what I am doing is focusing on eating well, eating enough, getting myself up to a healthy weight, and making sure I can get over that 50 kilogram kind of limit so I can donate blood in the future. Looking after myself now so I can help more people and be productive in the future. I don't think that's selfish. It's practical and it makes sense. There's no point in me putting my health at risk when it's just gonna backfire. And this applies to literally everything, so many things in life. You can't always help people to the best of your ability if you're not in a good place yourself, whether that's mentally or physically, emotionally, economically, just in terms of your general well-being. You need to look after yourself first before you can do this full amount of good for everyone else. It's not selfish to look after yourself. It's practical and helpful, and in the long term, it's selfless because it helps more people. You know, it's like a doctor won't go into work if they're ill because they're putting their patients at risk. They have to put themselves first and get their health better before they can go out and help everyone else. The difference, I think, comes down to motivation. And I think that's what the guy from the Fuel Project here, he just misses completely. He sees the words, love yourself before others, and thinks, oh, it must be selfish. Ooh, blah, 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 blah. Looking after yourself is only bad if your motivation is something along the lines of, I'm more important than everyone else and my well-being is the only thing that matters. What we need to remember is I'm going to focus on myself first is very different from I'm going to focus on only myself.
Of course, when Jesus came to earth, he actually demonstrated the wisdom of God's way. He actually demonstrated the biblical wisdom in his own life. Jesus spent his whole life serving others. Even though he was Lord, he washed his disciples' feet. Even though he was preeminent above all things, he made himself nothing as a baby in a manger. Jesus over and over again showed what it meant to put other people before himself, to sacrifice himself even for the good of others. Because that's what love is. Love is sacrifice. Love is putting other people before yourself. Put other people's needs ahead of your own. Count them as more significant than yourself, of greater priority than yourself.
Of course, this can be great advice, but there's a limit to it. And telling people that they're less than everyone else is a horrible thing to do that is pretty bad for most people's mental health. Telling people they have to come last is a typical tool, technique, whatever, that religions have used for thousands of years to keep people in their place, to keep them down, to keep them obedient and unquestioning. Of course, there are times when it's important and wonderful to put others first, to make sacrifices for other people. Whether it's something small like giving up the last slice of pizza so your partner can have it, or something big like donating a kidney to a loved one, giving up luxury so you can donate a portion of your income to charity. They're wonderful, wonderful things, but there's a limit to them. And you've got to be practical, otherwise you don't help anyone long term. Don't let someone else have that last slice of pizza if they've already had 3 other slices and you've not eaten in a day. Don't give up both of your kidneys and end up dead to save other people. Don't donate to charity if you don't even have enough basic income to pay your bills and pay your rent and so on. That's what loving yourself first is all about. It's not about being selfish, it's about being safe. When religions tell people you're a sinner if you don't put everyone else first, or they tell people you're a bad person for doing something for yourself, it's simply a manipulative tactic to keep people in their place, to stop them seeing the power that they as individuals have.
Jesus said, if you want to be great in the kingdom of God, you must become a servant. If you want to be first, you have to be servant of all. Put others first. Sacrifice yourself. Give of yourself for the good of others. Now, is that an appealing message? No, it's not. To become a servant of all, to humble yourself, to self-sacrifice, we don't want to hear that stuff. That's not a good message for us. We want to hear that we should be first, that we're a priority, that we deserve to be served, because that's what appeals to our selfish, sinful nature.
Now, this is just a personal thing, but I hate all this language of like servant and being served and blah, blah, blah. Loving yourself is not saying I deserve to be served. It's not asking anything of anyone else. It's just about taking care of yourself. Can we please just put an end to all this like servant, being served, serving, blah, 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 like talk and stuff. Like I hate it. I really hate it. Instead, let's just focus on helping each other, helping ourselves, growing together. Less about being a servant and who's the servant, who's the master. Less of that and more about, hey, we're a team, we're partners, we help each other out. Let's have more of that, please.
If somebody comes along, some kind of guru perhaps, and manages to justify your selfishness to us, and they try to dress this up as some kind of brand new wisdom, some mind-blowing new wisdom, we absolutely love it, because it's what our itching ears want to hear.
Again, I completely disagree here. It's less that we love it and it's our selfish, sinful nature that's wanting to hear it. It's less about that and more about, I think we actually need to hear it sometimes. Today we live in a time in a society, we live in a society. Anyway, we live in a time and a society where everyone is busy and everyone has a million things to do constantly, and pressure comes from all sides, and everyone's saying, can you do this and can you do this and you should be doing this and you should be doing this and do this and do this and do this. there's pressure on us constantly, and it's so easy to feel worn down and burnt out, and we can suffer so much because of it. And sometimes we just need that reminder of someone saying, hey, make sure you're taking care of yourself too, okay? And it's not because we're selfish. If anything, it's because we're so focused on everyone else and what everyone else wants and trying to make everyone else happy that sometimes we forget our own basic needs. I know there are a hell of a lot of times where I'll be so engrossed in work and trying to finish a video and writing and filming and editing and writing and filming and editing that I forget to eat. And that's a big problem. It's probably why I'm underweight. I'll go for like 12 hours in a day and be like, damn, I need to eat a meal. And sometimes it takes a friend coming over or phoning me up, or sometimes turning up at my door and being like, hey, I brought you food because I didn't think you'd eaten. Sometimes it takes like a friend or my sister or someone texting me and being like, hey, have you eaten today? Or hey, have you showered today? Or hey, have you done this super basic thing? Hey, are you remembering to take your medication? Things like that. I know how easy it is to forget these basic things when you're in the zone and you're so focused on everyone else and getting things done. And like, sometimes I'll spend so long editing a video because I want it to be right for you guys that I just kind of forget about the rest of the world and I forget about myself. And that's not good, because I only produce the best quality content when I'm well fed and happy and I'm taking my medication and I'm clean and showered and I'm in a good mood, you know? So if I want to be as productive and as creative and as helpful to others as I can be, I need to look after those basic needs of my own first. Food, medication, showering, making sure I'm sleeping enough. I need to love myself first before I can create the content that helps everyone else. And it's not selfish. It's very easy to forget about it sometimes, which is why I think we need to hear it from other people and ourselves and keep being reminded of it. Then what I find interesting is he shows this clip from Oprah.
Here's a clip.
Jackie Ryan just wrote on Facebook, I'm tired of being strong, I want to be weak. And Iyanla said that so many of us wear that as our badge. You know, those of you, how many of you are the strong ones? And why isn't that good?
Because then, first of all, it's probably inauthentic.
Yeah.
You know, that you always put other people before you, but you put yourself last.
And I actually agree with like quite a bit of this clip. Like I think it is bad to be strong if it's inauthentic. When you feel you have to put on this act and pretend to be something you're not and feel you have to live up to someone else's impossible standards, that's not healthy. It's not helpful. It's great if you are this like strong, amazing person, but when you feel like you have to act like a strong person when you're not feeling it, that is a problem. I also think it's important to point out that there's a huge difference between being the strong one and just looking after yourself. Like, I do think as a person, I am quite strong and independent, yet I also acknowledge that I have these huge weaknesses and I can be very vulnerable at times, and I do often need help and support from other people. I'm actually working like really, really hard on trying to be more like publicly honest with you guys about how I'm feeling at times, because for a long time when I was doing YouTube and when I was on camera, I did feel I had to hide the vulnerable side of myself. I thought I had to try and put on this act as being this strong, put together woman, otherwise you guys would think less of me. And now I'm like, screw that, that's not who I am. Yeah, I'm strong and I'm independent and I look after myself, and often I only have me to rely on, but it's okay to ask for help sometimes, and it's okay to say, hey look, I have these problems, and it's okay to say I have these vulnerabilities, and it's okay to say I feel drained or I feel sad or I'm having a bad day. Or having to pretend to be strong all the time does absolutely nothing to help me or anyone else. But when I'm more open about my issues and my problems and my vulnerabilities, it helps everyone, because it means you guys understand me a lot more, you guys can relate to me a lot more. I'm not just this kind of like, I don't know, figure on a camera anymore. Like, you see me as human and then you share your stories with me and I see you as humans, and I think it helps us all. I'm not sure where I was going with this, I'm rambling. Let's look at the video clip again, because there was another bit that comes up where I'm just like, yes, I'm gonna play that bit now.
Yes. You've got to be as good to you as you want to be to God in order to be of service to others in the world.
Thank you very much.
So you first.
So it's not selfish to put yourself first.
No, it's self-full.
It's self-full.
It's self-full to be first, to be as good as possible to you.
Yeah, so this is exactly what I'm saying, right? Like, obviously, I don't believe in a god. I'm not into the whole religion stuff. You know that. I know that. We all know that. But when people come to me and ask for advice, the thing that I always tell them is that if you do believe in a god, absolutely fine, good for you. And you do want to spend time worshipping and praying and studying the Bible and all this kind of thing, you can absolutely do that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But you can't do that to the best of your ability if you're suffering yourself. You need to look after yourself first. Make sure you're happy, you're content, you're healthy, you have a good support network around you. And only then will you be able to put as much time and energy and effort into belief as you actually want to. There's nothing wrong with looking after yourself first, so then you can give more time to God, if that's what you believe in. But of course, again, this guy hates that, and he goes on this little rant.
How much did that audience love that message that you are the god of your own life, therefore you should put yourself first, never sacrifice for anyone? This is twisted, self-centered, narcissistic drivel that completely inverts God's wisdom and that echoes the lie from the Garden of Eden.
So either he misses the entire point of the speech in that clip, or he just doesn't understand what words like selfish and narcissistic really mean. Is it ignorance, or is it arrogance, or I don't know, is he just trying to misrepresent this? Does he just want to be angry? I don't know.
And because it's what their itching ears want to hear, they're so excited about this message. If this self-help guru had come along and said, you have to sacrifice for others, you have to put others first, the audience would have sat there dutifully, yeah, okay, whatever. But as soon as they hear that you're the representation of God in your life, therefore you should put yourself first, never sacrifice for anyone, everyone suddenly sits up. Woohoo! I like what this lady's saying. There are these audible gasps of excitement in the audience. Okay, pens and papers, okay, say more things like that. I like where you're going with this. Tell me how I'm a god again. Tell me how I have to put myself first. And that's a good thing you're saying? I like that. Okay, let's go.
You know, just because something makes people happy and feel strong and empowered, that doesn't automatically make it a bad thing. Stop wanting everyone to live these, like, miserable lives of sacrifice and servitude. It's okay to be happy.
I feel like I really have to nail this one down. People who live by this mantra are effectively giving themselves carte blanche to behave however they want.
No, not even a little bit. Not at all. This is a straw man that is right up there with the things like atheists have no morals, and if evolution is true, why aren't we all running around murdering babies, like, and all that crap. It is completely false and ridiculous. Saying, I'll take care of myself and then other people is not the same by any means as saying, I'm going to steal from everyone else and think only about myself because I'm the only one that matters. It's like, you know, when you're on airplanes and like they do the safety stuff and then the masks come down and they say, oh, make sure you put the mask on yourself first and then on other people because, you know, if you try and put it on someone else, you're going to pass out and then be dead and they can't help you and it's all bad. Yeah. No. Put the mask on yourself first so you can breathe and then you can help the people around you. That's what loving yourself first means. Putting your basic needs first is never the same as just not thinking about other people. And you know, let's be realistic, that's not to say there aren't people who behave like that, who aren't selfish and narcissistic and so on. There are people like that. And there are people who think that loving themselves first means only loving themselves. Just because a few outliers use the self-love message, teaching, whatever, to justify being selfish or doing bad things or doing whatever they want, that doesn't make the message itself inherently bad. They are, like I say, the outliers. They're not the majority of the people. They're not the trend. And just because they take the message the wrong way, it doesn't make the message itself bad.
Say if your spouse wants you to go somewhere with them, but you don't really want to go. I'm sorry, honey, that would just make me feel uncomfortable if I went there, and I just need to love myself right now, so I can't go to that place. I just need to love myself right now. It's just a charter to be selfish.
And this kind of just sums up his problem with it. It is so much more complex than this, and he just completely misses it. Motives do matter. Let's say, for example, your partner comes to you and says, I need you to come help me with the shopping. And you say, I'm sorry, I can't today. My anxiety is really bad, and I know that if I go, into like a grocery store, a shopping centre, a supermarket, I'm gonna have a panic attack. That's gonna mess me up for the rest of the day. It's gonna put more strain on you. I won't even be able to help you at all. It's gonna be bad. I need to put myself first today and say no. I need time alone to sort my anxiety out where I won't have a panic attack in public. That is loving yourself before others, and that's not selfish. That is basic common sense of looking after yourself so that later you can help your partner. If you'd just gone along with what they wanted and you had a panic attack, you'd have put more stress on them in public, you wouldn't have been able to help them, it would have just ruined everything. But on the other hand, if your partner says, look, I need you to come to the shop with me because my anxiety is bad today and I can't do this alone, I need someone there to support me, and you turn around and say, nah, I'm not really feeling it today, can't really be bothered, sorry love. That is selfish. That is unfair. That's not loving yourself before others, that's just being a bit of a douche. It's all about motivations and trying to look after everyone's health and well-being and so on. It's not just a matter of are you doing something for other people or not, it's about the motivations and the circumstances around it and looking after your health first and your well-being first so that you can then help others. It's big and complex. Yeah, it's impossible to please everyone, and sometimes you do just need to step back and say, no, I need to take care of myself today. It is complicated, and I think the amount that this guy in the video is oversimplifying things just kind of blows my mind, because it's almost as though he's never been around an actual human being, and he doesn't really understand how human beings behave and what motivates us and so on. He ends the video with this little throwaway line.
Of course we should have self-respect. Of course we should take care of ourselves.
To which I just kind of have to ask, are you sure? Because that's the exact point I've been trying to make throughout this video. Is the exact point of the love yourself before others teaching, and it's exactly what you're choosing to ignore throughout this whole video. Anyway, this is where we're going to end this because I feel like this has been a little bit ranty today. I don't know. I'm in a little bit of a stressed mood today. I don't know, I'm just feeling a little like, maybe I need to go and love myself a little bit, go have a nice bubble bath, make myself some food, no. Anyway, let me know what you thought of this video, let me know what you thought of the original video. Thank you so much to the person who sent me this on Twitter. I'm not sure if your name said publicly or anything, so just, you know who you are, and thank you. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this guy's argument and what you think of the whole kind of like loving yourself before others teaching in general, and whether you do think it's selfish and narcissistic, or do you think it's an important lesson we need to remind people of a little bit more often. Anyway, thank you for watching today. Please subscribe if you're new here, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys again soon.